It's been branded shock and awe. The Pentagon says the early U.S. strikes weren't persuasive enough and has unleashed a ferocious air campaign against Iraq on...
I can't hear the sound of any other explosions apart from the reports of the ACAC firing up into the air. We don't know what's up there. We don't know what's out there. Probably nor do the crews that are firing at the moment.
I was riding in my car. I was in Ohio at the time. Heard it on a radio station, and literally thought at first that it was a joke or a hoax. Not realizing that it was true and serious.
I have a recurring dream. I am a gravedigger. Within my gates, the innocents come to be buried. With hate, violence, vengeance, war, more graves are filled. All I know is the graves are filled.
Woke up to go to my 9:30 biology class by my alarm, which blared something about...
I was actually just getting ready in the morning in my bedroom. I was putting on my clerics and getting ready to go to prayer, and my friend Father Jarrett called me.
Those starbursts are getting a bit closer above me. Again, we're getting the rolling sound. It's continuing. Whatever's there, they're continuing to fire up against it to try and protect the city.
I was in the shower, and my father told me that a plane hit the World Trade Center.
Walked back in, and they said, "This is going on." On the TV, and I woke up all my roommates and said, there's serious stuff going on.
And then my friend Eric Solomon called me from Chicago and said, "Do you know anyone directly affected?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, my friend." He said, "Well, now you are." And his Dave Rice had died.
And we were talking about how much injustice there is in the world, and how war was almost inevitable. It was just a matter of time.
To fire up against it to try and protect the city. You can probably hear. There's the first explosion. I've just seen the first explosion about a mile away. I don't know what it was. It was an explosion.
Well, I was abroad in France at the time, and I was sitting sort of in our computer room between classes, and one of my friends messaged me, said, like, "Get on CNN," or like...
My phone rang, and it was my friend, my roommate's sergeant, and he said, "Is Rachel Sikowski there?" And I said, no sir, she's at class." He said, "Well, tell her that there will be a rally meeting in the main building and to wear civilian clothing." I said, "Okay." Turns out that a lot of her teachers, or all of the majors in command, were immediately being sent to training. And I thought she was immediately going to war.
The world streams in, stands by my holes. Tears burn into dust. They hallow those tragic moments, those tragic souls. And they slowly go out, and they scream, "Never again. Never again."
I was utterly shocked, when I realized what was happening, and then angry at them for doing this. I was
anger, terrible anger, infuriating anger is what I felt.
I just felt really powerless and hopeless.
All around the skyline, there's been huge bursts, air bursts, clouds and bombs. It's very difficult to actually watch it and make sure I'm safe.
I don't know. I felt like I was pale like the whole day. I still had classes, and I went to classes, and I don't even remember them.
The old headstones weather. They forget. Don't ever return to remember.
We've never had sort of war on our borders. We don't know what that looks like. And we may just think this was an isolated sort of incident. And so we forget about it and we go back to thinking we're American, we're okay, and things are going to be all right. And I pray that's true.
Flash of light, that is the first explosion I've seen to hit the city. So that is definitely something incoming, has landed in the west of the city, directly across the Tigris. I couldn't possibly tell at night how far away it is, but that's the first one I've actually seen. That is.
And we were at the zoo, and this two huge limousines pulled up at the Lincoln Park Zoo. And these veiled, the ones that wore their eyes peeking out, the women that were all black, and their husbands and their children came out of the zoo and got into the limousine. And I had not seen anyone with a veil in those 2 weeks. Well, in Dunlap, Indiana, you're not going to see too many people with a veil. I like to think of myself as an unprejudiced person. It was all I could do. And since this isn't going to be on TV, not to go up and beat the shit out of them.
They vow to get the perpetrators. They try to rip out the few. They try to heal their wounds by wounding. Now this evil one. Next that one. All I know is I dig more graves.
Either you find a way to peacefully coexist with them, which because a lot of them are radical and believe they're directed by Allah, you're not going to do, or you crush them.
Same by striking with force on a scope and scale that makes clear to Iraqis that he and his regime are finished. Next, to identify, isolate, and eventually eliminate Iraq's weapons of mass destruction, their delivery systems, production capabilities, and distribution networks. Third, to search for, capture, drive out terrorists who have found safe harbor in Iraq. Fourth, to collect such intelligence as we
begets
can.
Pain. Violence begets violence. Hate begets hate. Grave begets grave. And I'm tired of digging.